Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Chad here with us. He's in United States in Tennessee and he's in marketing. So Chad, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tony. So I'm in Crossville, Tennessee. We're just outside of Nashville. Everybody knows Nashville for the music and the Jack Daniels. But I work in marketing. I own a digital marketing agency. We specialize in content and just web traffic and social media for the medical and the aerospace and aviation industries. So yeah, own a couple companies. We have a sister company that does like apparel and branding, and then we primarily focus on the website, social media, and analytics and AI.
Great. And tell us, please, how did you end up in this line of business?
I used to be a marketing director at a print magazine company in the aviation space. I don't want to name the company because they're not longer in business, but they were investing in 2016, 2017. They were investing millions of dollars back into print. And all of the data showed that digital marketing was kind of the way things are going. So I pivoted and started my own company that focused on digital storytelling, digital marketing, digital currency. So
Great. Yeah. And so what sort of challenges your potential clients are facing before they start working with you?
So it's very cluttered now. The industry or the internet has become a place where you have a lot of the used to be where there wasn't very many voices. There wasn't a lot of content creators. There wasn't a lot of 2016 through like 2020 was kind of the golden days for getting a footprint online, creating a personal brand, all this stuff. So a lot of companies that we work with, they just throw a website up, but they wouldn't really take their social media seriously. And then when COVID happened, everything went online, and that forced everybody to have a digital footprint and a digital presence. So the companies that we work with, mostly they're larger companies. They're probably like 40, maybe 30 to 80 employees, but they're not big enough to need a full-time marketing team, but they need somebody who knows what they're doing, and they work with like a fractional marketing agency like us, and we'll run everything, their website, social media, all that.
Okay, and what kind of results they can expect once they're working with you?
So we do everything is processed and reported. What we normally try to my whole industry right now is getting flipped up on its head. So AI is completely changing the way everything is done. So when we do a lot of back-end analysis, and then we'll record and we'll produce content for the brand, push that out, clip it across a bunch of different social media channels, video platforms, measure the results, and then see which ones are performing the best, and then just pour gasoline on the stuff that's really working.
Wonderful. And are we talking about paid marketing or organic?
But so we use organic to see what people really want to see. So organic gives us the data, and then we throw money at what the organic results tell us.
Yeah, like to multiply it and make it really successful.
Yep.
Really smart strategy. Well done on that. And then something, very interesting subject that you touched there, like AI, obviously.
Yep.
How is that affecting your industry?
That's completely like 6 months ago looks completely different from what it is right now. So what a lot of marketing agencies, they don't want to tell you that we can now do a lot of the things we used to do a year ago with a 10-person team or a 5-person team. We can now do with a 2-person team in half the time. So my philosophy when we work with a client, our slogan is authenticity is the currency of the future. So I would rather you know exactly what we're doing and exactly what's going on. And I'll tell you all the AI tools that we're using, and I'll show you the results, because a lot of agencies, people don't know what they're being charged for. They don't really know what the results they're going to get. And they're kind of like, I'm spending you all this money on marketing, but what am I actually getting for it? So with what we do, we run a lot of AI. We have a lot of AI tools that we build for the client specifically. And then we basically create our own marketing team that's managed by people that know what they're doing, by us. but they're AI trained on your organization, if that makes sense. And so you have like a content writer, you have your content team, you have your video, you have all this stuff, you have all your ads that we're kind of managing, but we have all these AI tools that are trained on your specific industry and your specific.
Great. And how do you actually manage the challenges? Obviously, a lot of people nowadays are using AI, but then a lot of content that is created by AI can look okay, but then there's some little problems, some little challenges. Like for example, let's say you worked on this for many years, and you immediately sort of have a feel for what is going to work, what is not going to work, and so on. But for someone just like jumping in and using AI, it looks like really good, and then they run their content by AI, and then they get no results. So how do you manage that?
So we saw the same thing, not in AI, but we saw the same kind of thing happen in the early stages of the online adoption. You had people that were running ads on Google. They had deep marketing pockets, they had these big budgets, and they were running ads on Google, but Google wants your search to connect with an actual real business that can fulfill your need.
Mhm.
And so the same thing is happening in AI. You get anyone that knows how to use these tools can create any content that says anything. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Yeah.
So you get, you get people that, they'll make all these promises and they'll make all these claims through their content. But if what you're saying through your content, whether you're using AI tools or not, doesn't match up with an actual real life in-person experience, no one's going to pay attention to you. So we do use some AI to like video content creation tools, but unless it matches the in-person, the real life experience that the customer is going to get when they experience your brand or your business or what your service you offer, it doesn't matter what content you create, no one's going to pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah. And so what do you think is going to happen, like, for example, in the next year when it comes to marketing and AI?
Man, if I knew that, I would, that's the $1 million question. I think it's gonna, I think a lot of people are going to pivot to having in-house large language models and AI systems that are just monitored. You're going to get to the point where like your marketing director is basically just, they're going to shift to a lot of trade shows, a lot of in-person, there's going to be a lot more experiential relationships. And then on the digital marketing side, it's going to be just a lot of AI monitoring. You're going to have systems and agents that run all your stuff for you. All your lead gen is AI generated. Everything's going to be populated. You're going to have chatbots that are almost going to be indistinguishable from real humans. I mean,
Yeah, interesting times. Yeah, and obviously, what's one piece of advice you can give to companies that have between 30 and 70, 80 employees, and they're like looking for the right agency to hire? Like, what's one piece of advice that you can give them in terms of how to select the right one?
look at how much quality information they give you for free. So if you're looking at an agency to work with, look at how much they genuinely want to help your business. So when you first meet with them, are they holding back? Are they safeguarding trade secrets? Are they safeguarding tools? Or so somebody, a really successful agency or somebody who really knows what they're doing, they know that they can do it better than anybody else out there. So they're not willing to give you, they're not trying to hide their playbook. So if you go into a meeting with an agency owner and they're like, yes, this is what we would do. This is how we would do it. This is the value you can expect. And this is the cost associated with it. Somebody who's willing to share their whole entire playbook is somebody that, in my opinion, knows what they're doing. And they're not people that are not quite as good as they want you to think they are. They hide their tools and trades and methods because they have a little bit of insecurity. They don't want people to copy what they're doing, but people that really know what they're doing, they know that no one's going to copy it and do it as good as they can. So they're willing to provide a lot of free value in exchange to try to build some trust.
Great. And can you tell us also what's one of the major things that you enjoy about your business?
I what I've enjoyed the most about this is when I meet with a company, I basically have to be a subject matter expert on what they do, their service, their product, their whatever, in like a week. So I like the fact that I never stop learning. So this whole entire like meeting with like a CEO, if you walk into that meeting and you don't know the ins and outs of their business forwards and backwards, you look like an idiot. So it forces, like, this industry forces me to continually learn, to continually educate myself, to continually read, to just stay up to date on the latest everything. It's like medicine. You can't stop educating yourself on the latest practices and the latest trends. You have to constantly be on top of things.
Definitely. And if people want to get in touch with you, Chad, learn more about you, connect to you, or check out your business, how they can do that?
So plateaucreative.com is our website. My email is chad@plateaucreative. But yeah, I mean, we've got a 4-man team. We have a lot of fun. Something new every day.
Great. Yeah. And if there is any final question, maybe I didn't ask you, any tip that you would like to share with our audience or anything else, yeah, let us know now.
I would say a lot of companies, especially successful companies, if you are an enterprise doing like $1 million in revenue or 5 million or 10 or 20 million, they don't think that they need to be putting content out. But what AI is doing, you asked me earlier about like where do I think it's going to go in the future. These large language models are trained on what's currently on the internet already. So if you're a company that has not invested into content and you have not really invested into putting yourself out there, you really need to start doing that now, because the future, as AI keeps progressing and progressing, these models are not going to pick you up. So you're in 10 years, you're going to be non-existent. So it's kind of like you must be present to win. If you guys want to win in the next 5 to 10 years, you got to start putting content out.
Great. Chad, thank you so much for sharing your story, giving this advice as well and tips. And yeah, thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like. If you have any questions for Chad or me, you can actually ask them in the comments. We'll be more than happy to answer those. And see you all in the next episode. Chad, thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Tony. Have a good one.
You too.